everyone. Welcome to the stream. It's good to see you all here today. Hello, hello. So just let
Hi.
the man himself, CM Cosman. Would you like to introduce yourself to everyone while I organize myself?
Okay, good day and good morning. This is CM Kozman speaking. I am an artist, author, and researcher of some repute. Many of you probably know of me through All Tomorrows, the illustrated fictional future evolution book about, well, the future of humanity. Before beginning, I would like to thank Lady Spookaria for her patience with me and for putting this show together.
My
It
pleasure.
is it is a little known fact that I do not use a smartphone. I only downloaded Discord for this program, and you were very patient with me because I literally do not know what button to press on this infernal Zoomer machination
It's all
for
good.
it to function. So you actually had guided me. You actually had to guide me through with actual screenshots of where to click just a minute ago, and thank you for your patience with me.
All good.
So, yep,
I'm
yep,
I,
yep.
I'm really excited about this. So, we should say hello to some of the people who have come to the stream, and then
Yes, by
also.
the way,
Oh no, go on.
by the way, how do I see the chat? That's also a thing. I've got the I have got the YouTube stream going, so okay, now I can actually see the chat.
Yeah, sometimes it
So
lags. It's all good.
yeah. But yes, many people here. So wow, very nice. So on to you, lady. You be the guide.
Oh, okay. I will guide you through the dangers of my chat. No, I'm kidding. They're a good bunch. Hello, Laura, the parent mod. It is lovely to see you. Sharon, one of my beloved channel members. Hello, hello. Clam, welcome. Nice little duck. Rando, it's okay. I appreciate you dropping by. Hustlefell. It's 4 p.m. for me where I am. Hello, Sock Goblin. Welcome. It's 4 a.m. for poor CM at the moment.
It's not
So
4 a.m. No, it's 9 a.m.
oh, is it? I thought it was 4 a.m. for you, and I was just there going, oh
No,
no.
the earlier time you proposed was 4 a.m., but it would just have been unworkable.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yep.
I understand. Let's see.
I see one of my fans in the chat, Digital Banyo,
Hello,
asking, how
Digital.
did you guys meet? Yeah.
I think we met because I asked you if I could narrate all tomorrows.
Yeah. And that was a really nice narration. Thank you, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I was really happy that you agreed to let me do it because I've saw someone else's version of it and I'm like, I really want to do that story someday.
Yeah. I mean, you have a really nice voice,
Oh,
and
oh thank you.
I mean, I was not aware of the presence of this narration plus reading community. So there.
Excellent. Oh, I'm happy that, I introduced you to this other side of YouTube.
Yep.
Okay. Hello, Kathy. Another of my beloved channel members. It is good to see you. Everyone's talking about loving coffee. Hell yeah. Let's see. Oh wait, there was a lag? Uh-oh.
No, there's no lag. At least not for me.
Okay, good. I always get
I just I just muted the phone the microphone for 10 seconds to get up and take care of something. So
Oh,
just
it's
10 seconds, everybody.
oh good.
Yep.
That's so people can't. Can you hear the alert when it just came up? Oh wait, no.
I can't hear anything.
So basically, when there's a pop up, it's loud
Oh,
for
okay,
me,
I
and the
see those
chat.
now. I see the super chat donators on the screen. So I got YouTube open on one screen on one pop-up menu and Discord open on the other side, and yeah, that's my experience so far. And
Nice.
uh, yep. So
Hello.
I'm just gonna
Oh,
mute my microphone for 10 seconds. I'll be right back, okay?
okay. Hello, Hopeful, one of my beloved channel members, coming in with a $5 super chat. Much appreciated. Hello, lady and almighty creator, currently on lunch break, listening to this stream and playing a game. Hell yeah, Hopeful. Hell yeah. So it's 1 a.m. for Hopeful, 8:12 a.m. for Sock Goblin. Hello, Dexter. Welcome. Past 2 a.m. Laura, you... Sometimes I worry about your lack of sleep. It's good. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. No, I already battled the layers before the stream started. I was an organized demon.
Mm-mm.
So chat, if
I
you have
am back.
welcome back. If you've got any questions, please tag me. So that way it's easier for me to see in the chat. But I do have some questions of my own for CM. Hang on. I wrote them down. I was all excited. So my main how I know most of your work is through All Tomorrows. So what was your inspiration for the queue?
Well, that's everybody's favorite monster. And I go on TikTok and I even see people comparing the ku or kohanim. I see people comparing them to other monsters from science fiction lore and stuff like that.
Mm.
To give a maybe disillusioning answer, this book was originally a portfolio of weird post-human drawings with no story behind them. And then I said, okay, well, maybe this thing, I can wrap it up as some illustrated short story. So I started like threading a story around them. And you realize there's no way humanity could devolve into so many different forms. I mean, we would sooner either like build airplanes rather than evolve wings, you know?
Mm.
I mean, maybe faintly possible. Kurt Vonnegut has a book called Galapagos, in which humans devolve into seal-like monsters, and but it happens in a very limited setting. It happens in the confines of a nuclear apocalypse, and survivors trapped on literally the Galapagos Islands kind of devolve into cavemen first and then into like human like seals, and so sorry, seal like posthumans. But to have all of these at the same time is like frankly impossible technically. I mean, so I had to come up with a story, and the story was, let's put humans on different worlds, okay, and then let's strike them down with something. So I needed just the motive of an incomprehensible, omnipotent, and irresistible alien invaders. So that's how the concept was born. And then literally the drawing was, okay, I want something, I want to append the famous Vitruvian man drawing that Leonardo da Vinci made to symbolize the downfall of humanity. And literally, I was just looking at a piece of paper with a tracing of that. Like there was like a circle made for the Vitruvian man. And I said, okay, what can I draw above this thing, you know? And well, it just evolved naturally. Remember, this book came out in 2006, and that drawing I think was made in 2004 or 5, I don't know. And before that, in the late 1990s, I had these like school books where I just made alien illustrations without point or purpose. I love designing creatures for its own sake. I mean, I like organic forms. I like natural history. I like making my own things. And I think the head was out of one of those far earlier drawings. And the wings and the tail were literally almost graphic devices to kind of frame that fall of man that upended Da Vinci, Vitruvian man illustration. So there's a long answer to that short story, short question.
No.
There
Long
was
answers are
literally,
great. Oh, sorry.
yeah. So it was a plot device and it was almost improvised. I mean, if I was drawing that thing on another day, maybe it would have been something with, I have no idea, maybe with no wings and a kind of boomerang shaped body. I don't know. I like angular shapes like that. So that's how it evolved.
Nice.
But I think that's one of the secret strengths of that book, because you have these like, that's how it happens in history and natural history. I mean, you have these stories of something coming out of nowhere and utterly upending the like quote unquote natural order of things. I mean, you have fossils. You have fossils depicting, for example, a probably early human-caused massacre of giant baboons. There used to be giant baboons almost the size of gorillas. And I mean, there's a fossil site, for example. There's a fossil site literally depicting a massacre of 40 or 50 of these creatures with their heads bashed in. And that's something we know from natural history, so it's very dark. And I just wanted to echo that effect. It's like something to do unto us what we had been doing unto many other animals. So there.
That's really, because I always thought that the Q were basically an earlier branch of humanity that left, and then they came back. No, so my theory is completely wrong. It's okay.
Well, I mean, I'm purposefully vague on those answers because I like, that's the strength of, I think, this story. It's a skeleton, and people have been padding it with their own theories and their own curiosity. I think the whole humanity coming back motive. Sorry, I'm crunching down on some chocolate at the moment.
It's okay.
The whole humanity coming down motive is from Dougal Dixon's Man After Man. Many of your viewers would know that. So that story is also like a wonky, weird future human evolution story. And, well, in it, humans go to the stars, but some people are left on Earth and they devolve into animals, and then also like weird, very weird things. And then people come back from the stars and enslave their distant relatives again. So maybe that kind of echoed into people's fan theories of all tomorrows and what the kohanim were.
Could have been.
I won't elaborate on what they are, but when I was writing, I did not have this idea. I will just leave it at that.
Ooh, nice. So what is your favorite human subspecies in All Tomorrows?
I think it has to be either the flying ones, the well-developed incarnation. There's something I really like with the pose of that creature, the way the wings are folding, and in the distance you can faintly see those towers. And I remember thinking about their architecture and stuff, because if you can fly, you can perch anywhere.
Yeah.
So you don't actually need an internal staircase. You don't even need level stories for that. So if you look at the towers in the background there are like doors and windows that are not aligned and that are like counterintuitive levels. And I don't know, I like those towers. I really like those towers, maybe more than the drawing itself. But the animal also, well, not the animal, but the post-human also looks really nice. And remember, like, if this book hadn't gone famous, I would probably have discarded this, saying it's like a cringe early teenage thing. But yeah, I think the community of people who appreciate it have different ideas. So now I look back at it, and I don't know if the same happens to you, but I like my older work with great reluctance, and yeah, that is, I mean, that was the case before Baltimore's became really famous. But still, looking back, it's either those flying people, the pterosapiens, I think I called them,
Yeah.
or the finger fishers, because I mean, and for posterity, these are known from this like hot male guy on a beach, but has a kind of like extended Anubis like snout and very long fingers, which it uses to like they use them to harpoon fish in tide pools, basically.
Nice.
And that I love that I love that species so much because it resonates with a personal memory of playing in tide pools and flipping stones in shallow water. And well, I live in the Mediterranean, so I mean I live in Turkey, which borders the Mediterranean. And there's lots of weird things you can find there, like small moray eels, octopi that won't kill you, and sea stars,
Nice.
marine worms, mollusks, nudibranchs.
I had to laugh.
Apologies.
No, it's okay.
Apologies.
It's okay. I had to giggle a little bit when you say octopus that won't kill you. Because I live in Australia.
Yeah. I actually did travel down to Australia too myself. And I did some tide pool flipping there. And I saw my first blue ring octopus. This was actually near Proserpine. There's a great place there called Cape Gloucester. And a bunch of beaches like Dingo Beach or wonderful places. So everybody says, swimming is forbidden because of stingers or jellies and stuff. And of course, I spent a small fortune for myself, and sorry, apologies. I'm just dealing with something else on the side.
Okay.
I'm trying to maneuver a plate of breakfast because it's 9 a.m.
It's
without actually also dropping the computer. Okay, I got it done now. Okay, I'm ready.
It's okay.
So, okay, we were back. Where are we? Cape Gloucester, Proserpine.
Yes.
Have you been to, obviously you must have been up to Queensland. It's a wonderful place.
I haven't actually been to Queensland yet.
Okay, so I mean, yeah. So I did some tide pool wandering there too. And I saw one small stingray. And then, yeah, I began like mucking about. I mean, there are not many stones to flip because actually the water is murky, but in a good way, a good sort of like mangrove murk, you know what I mean? And then, yes, like when I was like mucking about, I saw a small blue ring octopus. And it's like, okay, maybe these people ban swimming for a reason. So I scampered out. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't gonna let a pesky rule stop me, huh?
Oh no. Well, oh dear.
Yeah.
Well, it's unlikely anything would happen, but there is always that off chance.
Yeah, and apparently if it does happen, you're done for good. So yeah, but it's ridiculous. Like I remember driving to this little town called Dingo Beach, and well, it's just I think like some quaint summer houses, like individual summer houses, and there was a really nice beach pub. I won't even call it a pub. It was just like a bunch of biker dudes around a small kitchen that did like fried fish and stuff. It was wonderful.
Oh, yum. I love fried
And
fish.
I asked like, where can I swim? Like I said, oh, there's an official beach around the corner. They said, okay. So the official beach, it turns out, is like a boxed in section of the beach, literally like 6 by 5 meters. It's like a fenced in portion. It's almost like a child's playpen, but slightly in the sea. And of course, it's choked with algae because nobody's cleaned it. So you're meant to swim in that. Yeah, yeah, that was
Oh,
funny.
yeah. I thought you meant for a sec, swim between the red and yellow flags on the beach.
Oh, no, no, no. I mean, where I was, it was, I mean, it was too homely, too humble for red and yellow flags. It was just like literally like 5 houses, some bikers, and that beach place. I mean, if there are any Australians, they can verify. It's a lovely part of Queensland, by the way. Oh yeah.
I really want to visit. It sounds good. Um,
Oh, I mean, you live in a wonderful, wonderful country,
I
an
know,
entire continent.
I know, and I still haven't seen all of it too, or most of it even.
I mean, n- look, traveling, being able to travel, especially in this day and age, is connected to financial well-being. So, I mean, I would never say like, everybody should travel. I mean, everybody should travel, but times are tough.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, just let me just praise Australia a bit. It's a wonderful country.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
a lot of people are surprised to find out that Australia has rainforests as well as deserts, and
No, you got, of course, Queensland has some immaculate rainforests. I think one of the world's leading biodiversity areas.
I didn't
Look,
know.
I mean, cats did a number on the ecology, but it's still a pristine country. Like, so being lucky enough to travel 10 years ago, you see the sense is different. The air hums in a different way. I guess maybe if you travel to my part of the world, you would sense that too. Like the very physicality has a different feeling. It's difficult to convey with words, but
Mm.
like especially up in Queensland, like the air itself hums. I don't know. Maybe maybe it's because there's some like very low frequency cicada species or something, but like within the air itself, there's like a shimmering non sound, like it's not related to the heat. It's like it's a wonderful, wonderful sensation. Sorry, by the way, I am known to like talk my mouth off and
No, no,
run
no,
into
no,
these
no.
wild.
I'm happy that you're, feeling confident enough to like talk and, really get involved with everything. Wonderland.
No, no.
No, it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Wonderland says, "Oh, hi, creator from the book that basically started my love for alternative biology."
Hello, hello, Wonderland. By the way, hello to everybody. I'm reading the chat too. Mm-mm-mm. I also must express, since we spoke about cats and one of your commenters says cats improve anything in a place really, this pumping heart on your desk, the 3D animated heart
Yep.
with the pipe, with the aorta softly going in and out like a puttering motorbike engine. It looks like a cat.
It. What?
Meow. Yeah, it looks like a cat there just purring.
Oh, okay. I was so
The,
confused.
the disembodied heart. Yeah, yeah. You can just dub it with a purring sound. And like, yeah, yeah, that's like that's the cutest.
I didn't see it that way, and now I'm like, oh my god, I can't unsee it.
Yeah, yeah, and like your avatar's hand is even positioned in a way as if to like, who's a good boy, and like, and then it's like, brr, 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 and then yeah, so yeah.
I didn't. I'm gonna just get like little cat ears on it now.
Yeah, yeah. One of your stream fans, somebody from your chat must do this Photoshop op now.
I'm hoping someone will. Any takers to put cat ears on the beating heart.
Yeah, yeah. And like maybe even Photoshop in the face from one of those famous Instagram midget cats or something, you know those things?
Oh, the munchkin cats, the little ones.
Yeah, yeah. There's actually a couple of accounts with like actual midget syndrome affecting cats. I forgot their names, but yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, yeah.
Also,
Clam Gems
oh,
Clam Gems says cat. He's also a member of my community too, so hello.
good to see you, Clam. Good to see you. I was gonna say, oh,
Okay, I'll shut up. I'll shut up. You ask me questions now.
interrogation. um,
Yeah, yeah.
so is it? I don't know if this was. Is a physical oh my god, is a physical copy of All Tomorrows coming out soon?
Yes, so that's a great announcement I can share with your fans. I just recently signed a contract with Unbound Books, and we are really making this really nice, polished, how do you say, like gift-sized version of All Tomorrows in print form. The good people at Unbound Books, they got in touch with me, and we'd been talking for a while. I signed a contract with them recently, so I'm confident to say it's happening. This publisher, they're a great publisher. They're called Unbound, like UNBOUND, and they're like a legacy publisher. They published, I think, memoirs or letters from the Douglas Adams estate. So for me, it was a great honor for somebody like them to come knocking at me. And they operate with a pre-order or fundraising model. So they call it fundraising, but it basically amounts to receiving orders beforehand. So there will be a fundraising drive, and people will be able to contribute. And when we reach the goal, everybody who contribute will get their books. It will be like pre-ordering. And I was really happy because before this deal happened, and after All Tomorrows became really famous in 2021, I had committed myself to a rewrite of the book, by the way, which is still happening. And the rewrite is a much bigger book now, way more text and stuff.
Ooh, that's
But
really cool.
the publishing deal is for the like classic legacy. It's like legends and the legacy All Tomorrow's book, the one that everybody's able to download online. But I was really humbled and honored that a publisher found me, because usually the way these things go is an author goes from door to door marketing their book, and like, but this happened the other way around, which makes me really happy and cozy. Before this, there was actually a Thai publication of All Tomorrows on paper, and this was by a publisher from Thailand, and they were also really generous too. And yeah, I mean, I must have done something right.
That's it.
And
Oh, sorry. Is
yeah,
both
yeah, I mean, if you go
versions?
to
Oh, sorry.
yeah, sorry, go on.
Is both versions, like the new rewrite and the classic, both going to be published?
Well, the rewrite is gonna be published, but I think it has got at least a year of work on it. I mean, I'm taking my time on that.
Is
But the
there?
classic version is coming out way sooner. I mean, you'll be hearing announcements about it soon.
Ooh, excellent. I was just about to be
And
like, is there a link?
there will be a link soon. So I'm just like verbally telling this now. I mentioned this on my own stream a week ago, and now like your fans are also hearing it from me, straight from the horse's mouth. And when the fundraising project is ready to launch, everybody will know, and I might ask people to boost the message and everything. So yeah.
let me know. I'd be happy to give it a boost.
Oh, thank you so much. So yeah, a lot of things happening. Like, okay, so the best thing about this is, when you're 18, 19, you have these like passion projects at school and whatever. And basically, the All Tomorrows was that for me, the original. And now, the vision of the 18-year-old me, it has been appreciated by so many people. It's getting this exposure, it's getting this international book release. And that's, I think, I mean, forget about the financial side of things or even about the fame. But when you're 17, 18, 19, you are more naive in a way, you make plans, but we don't know if those. So in my case, this actually happened. Like, the 18-year-old me did something right. And now the 40-year-old me is reaping its rewards. And that's a wonderful sense. That's a wonderful feeling.
I think it's amazing coming back to something you wrote and just seeing like that appreciation you have for it now is beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. And just for posterity, when the classical All Tomorrows is released in print form, it will have, I think, nearly 30 pages of previously unseen sketches from all the way back. It will have like, bonus new chapters giving behind the scenes information. So you will get far more than just the copy that's floating around online. So that's that.
Oh, that's awesome. I love little extras. I'm like, yes!
Yeah, I mean, look, you always have to give back.
That's true. So Cookies says, how is your Sinate? I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm so
Naya. Yeah, yeah.
how
Okay, so
oh sorry, keep going. Sorry.
how is that going? Yeah, Cookies is also an online friend of myself. So hello, Cookies. So Snayat, that's a dream project of the 21-year-old me. Mm. It's actually, you can read it online.
Ooh,
It's
nice.
the future. It's the natural history of an alien planet, a very realistic one. It's like a field guide to a world where, well, has a unique line of evolution, and basically my speculative evolution project where I try to design a lot of believable, nice aliens and stuff like that. So you just share the link on the chat. So if
Yep.
people go to cmkozman.com, and it says connection unsafe, but it's because I don't have a HTTPS license. Just override that and go ahead. And in there, there's a tab called Projects and Miscellanea. You go there and you can see Snayat, the first thing. And I am also revamping that. I am completely rewriting and re-illustrating Snayad. And I'm just designing lots of alien creatures from this, based around this common body plan. And I'm just having a hell of a good time. And it's still in process. I would say maybe another 1 year, a year and a half, because I really want this to be perfect. I'm aiming for like a magnum opus. The first Snayad book had maybe 150, 200 family lines. This new book is gonna have 1,000, and they're all gonna be meticulously illustrated in this style you will see if you visit the website. So there is that.
Ooh,
Mm,
that's really cool.
these are like keeping me busy, and when I finish that, I hope somebody will pick that up to publish it as well. I got a bit of a reckless attitude with this. I mean, I just go ahead with these things, and I don't mind if I don't try to find a publisher first. I just try to do the best thing that I can do. and I want to create something that I would read, and I don't know, it goes well, I think.
Nice.
Yep.
Hang on. So Blake
Ah.
has a question for you. What is the best
Yep.
dinosaur in your opinion? And then in brackets, the only opinion.
Well, I've always had a thing for Dilophosaurus, the spitting dinosaur in Jurassic Park. I think it's just like a very elegant creature. The skull has this like really nice, slightly elongated shape. There has been some discussion about how exactly the skull was shaped. Traditionally, it was portrayed with a kind of like weird kinked forepart of the snout. But then there was a reassessment in 2019, and they basically the fossil is kind of smashed, so there are different ways to interpret that. So they reinterpreted it with a kind of like more robust, kind of like flat skull. And then recently, though, Matt Dempsey, that's Mattdempsey, I think like he's a researcher who's like what he says about dinosaurs, I can just take it as canon because he's a very, very, very well educated. Like he does the research. He's, I think, one of the go-to scientists, and I think he's going to be one of the top paleo researchers in the coming generation. So Matt Dempsey did a reassessment of this robust Dilophosaurus, and he came to the conclusion that while it was more robustly built than the first interpretation, it still had the gracile skull structure and the like weird tooth kink in the forepart of the mouth, and so on and so forth. So I really love that thing. I mean, it also helped growing up with that in Jurassic Park. If you watch the original Jurassic Park, that's the dinosaur with the frill
I
that
remember.
spits on. Yeah. And paleontologically, we know that the frill was an exaggeration, but the movie really nailed down. Like, also, the movie made it much smaller. It was 6 meters long. So yeah, just a wonderful creature. It's just, and also like technically speaking, you can really. Have you ever seen a chicken? Have you ever seen a chicken attack a mouse or a small animal?
Oh yeah.
I mean, they just explode, run up to you, and
But
they just have this kind of like
their inner
relentless
dinosaur
mode.
comes out. It's like, oh
Yeah,
god.
yeah.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah, so I can really picture something like this exploding out of a jungle, and you have to realize how scary these animals are. And people don't realize that when they're like just looking at drawings of skeletons or just comparing them on like carnivora forums and stuff like, and they see like a 3 meter long animal and they say, it's a puny dinosaur. It's not. Horses are 3 meters long. If you've been around a horse, that thing is a herbivore. It can still like break your arm if it bit it,
Yeah.
and it just has to bite your arm, keep biting, and just go left, right with its neck. Just that. Yeah, I mean, you're screwed. Now imagine that with an animal with a skull the size of, I don't know, a coffee table, and that's a medium-sized one. Imagine that thing running down its victim. All these things have to do like people imagine like if you study biomechanics, you can really see how much damage these animals can inflict, and their necks are very robust too. I sound like the Bible. I mean, behold its neck, how mighty it shakes. And literally, I mean, that thing can just grab something, just shake its head left, right. That's it. I mean, your every bone is dislocated, massive trauma, internal injuries. I mean, and there were like cohorts and lineages of these animals, clade upon clade. the amount of time that they prospered on the world, even the last part, the Cretaceous itself, is longer than anything that came after combined. There's more time between the early Cretaceous and the end of the reign of the dinosaurs than there is time from the end of the dinosaurs to this very day. That's like, when you put it on that perspective, it is really humbling. So
I think it's, I can't remember. It's like humans have only been on the planet for like a blink in the term of time.
yeah, and even us humans have a lot of deep time we don't really know about. I mean, the first cities are maybe like 5,000 years old, and the first artifacts, such as the Göbekli Tepe larder site and everything, those things are maybe, 12,000, I don't know, 20,000 years old. Anatomically, modern Homo sapiens has been around for 300,000 years. And so, like, yeah, deep time upon deep time. And it's really humbling and it's really nice.
It is.
One of your friends, Zoopter Doopster, says they're ashamed they can't pin down the Slavic accent.
Oh,
Well, my good friend, this is a solid gold Asia Minor accent. I have a very eccentric accent because I read a lot before I could even speak with anybody. This is a solid gold Sephardic / Asia Minor accent, and yeah, I really I cultivate it.
I had trouble picking your accent when I first heard you too. I'm like, where is he from?
Well, I am a Turkish citizen. I was born in the city of Ankara, and now I'm having my breakfast with you in the city of Istanbul, erstwhile Constantinople, and I wish everybody a nice day. Usually, Turkish people have a different sort of accent when they speak in English, but yes, it comes from my own heritage, and I don't know. I mean, I just read a lot, and I studied in the States after. I lived and worked in the UK for a bit, then in Italy too, with a bunch of international people. Okay, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like, in this part of the world, there are these. I hasten to use the word like rubes, like these like silly people who pay exorbitant amounts of money to these accent coaches, and there are these fancy ass people who like Harry Potter 3 or like literally they spent like half their month salary on the fucking accent coach. Sorry for dropping the F-bomb, by the way.
Okay.
And like, okay, you sit them down, you ask them, okay, like you're in a meeting with them, and okay, like I also work as an advertiser. You ask them any relevant thing, okay? Okay, so which channels should we use for this campaign, or even I don't know, like when there's like a foreigner in the room and you say like, oh well, I think I don't know, like stuff. I don't know, like you think graffiti is high art or is it low art? Like some conversational stuff,
Yeah.
And these Harry Potter fools, they look at you. They look at you like a crippled animal in the highway, begging for you to run it over. They can't string two sentences together. They concentrate so much on style rather than substance. It is one major critique I have. I love my part of the world. I love the Mediterranean, Middle Eastern world. But that's one critique I have. It's style over substance. And I never gave a single flying F about this. As long as I can get my thoughts across, I can bend words a little. It's nice. Anyways, I run my mouth off.
It's all
I
good.
run my mouth off. And one of my biggest fears was actually hogging your show, and I never want that
No,
to
no, no,
happen.
no.
So.
It's look. I'm just happy that you are. Like, it's better to have a guest that likes to talk and get into questions and things than say a guest who's really shy and I have to sit there poking come on, answer the
Oh
questions.
well,
Come on, come
just
on.
poke me. Yeah, yeah.
I don't think you need to. You're all good when it comes to
Yep,
answering
yep.
questions. Let's see. So, Dexter says, if you laid out the entire geological history of the Earth out along the length of a football field, the entirety of human existence would be the width of a pencil, and the entirety of
Yeah,
recorded history would be the width of a human hair.
yeah. There's something like that. Half of the football pitch would be just bacteria, by the way. There are these entire eons, I think Hadean and Archean with these cool names. And literally half of recorded geological history, like you have life appear, and for almost like 1 billion years, it stays at bacteria-like level. I mean, you have like very, very faint fossils. Of course, it's very deep time, so we only have fossils to go by. But then you come to the Cambrian era, and then like stuff like worms and bugs really make an appearance. Before that, there's an epoch called the Ediacaran. I think the best fossils for that era actually come from Australia, the Kimberley region. There are these things called Vendozoans, which are these like quilt-like fossils. Literally, like imagine something like a sponge or a quilt, or like a very flat worm made out of bubble wrap, or like elongated, like sausage-shaped balloons, you know. And these things became extinct without leaving any descendants. Maybe they were agglomerations of bacteria-filled sacs that kind of did something to metabolize. Nobody knows. But yeah, so like half of the football field is bacteria. Then you get these like biological quilt organisms. And then the Cambrian era begins, and you're almost like 3/4 of the way home. And then you get the dinosaurs and everything. So yeah.
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 So I can't remember. I wish I need to ask someone about where I was, but I found a mollusk and fossil, and I don't know. I can't remember where I found it. Let's see. So Blake would like to know how tall the striders are.
I think in the book I said 30 meters tall. That's one of the major gripes I have with the original All Tomorrows. I talk about the years and meters, but the story takes place across millions of years on many different planets. So that frame of reference is kind of like forced. If I was writing it now, I would say something like 10 of its distant ancestors could stand on each other's shoulders and not reach the mighty thing's eye, or something like that. I mean, I don't want to be very precise. Also, with years, I would like, if I was writing the book now, I would say, and when I'm doing the rewrite now, I don't say like 20,000 years or something. I would just say untold generations. I mean, who needs that? That frame of reference doesn't work when you're writing about a story set on multiple planets across millions of years. So yeah.
I really want to read the rewrite. It sounds amazing. I want to see it.
Well, if you join my Patreon, you
Oh,
can sometimes read sneak excerpts from there. Patreon.com/CM Kozeman, everybody. Even for as little as $1 per month, I hate paywalls, but in this day and age, we all have
There
to
we go.
hustle. Yeah, yeah.
There's
So,
the Linky Loo in there.
yeah. You get excerpts from the Snayat book, All Tomorrow's Rewrite. So, and also lots of, I'm also a surrealist artist, a painter, and many new paintings. I also do commissioned art, by the way. Let me get this across.
Do you
So
have
the commissioned art is not cheap. It's not too expensive either. It's not cheap. But if you go to cmkozumen.com/coms comms.html, you can commission me stuff to draw for you, and I've happily drawn stuff for like D&D settings or people's personal characters. I've drawn people's pets as aliens for gifts, personal gifts. I can, like, if you got a girlfriend or a boyfriend or somebody you love, you want to like give them a treat. You know, I mean, I've had cases where like um, a guy wanted me to like personify his girlfriend as a creature, and I obliged.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah. So I also do commissioned art as a side gig. And the art kind of looks like the avatar I have on the screen now, but it's much better shaded and like better version of that thing actually.
Nice. Okay, we're gonna take a quick break because it's past the hour mark. But
Okay,
we'll be
okay, let's
back
take a
in just
bio break. Okay.
all right, we'll be back in just a second. And we're back. Thank you for your patience, everyone.
Yes, I took a bio break and fulfilled various biological functions. Laura Applewood is role playing that scene from Jurassic Park. What do you call a blind dinosaur? Do you think he saw us, Rex? It's that scene where they were trapped on a tree and they finally escaped the Tyrannosaur, and the Brachiosaurus came over, and there's like a calm scene where with Grant and the kids, and they're just falling asleep, making jokes, and yeah,
I didn't remember that.
lovely.
If Jurassic Park was real, would you go to it?
Yes,
Same. I would go too.
yeah. Actually, I think if it was real, it would be really famous for a year. Then I think it would be like the San Diego Zoo, or like, I mean, there are some really incredible nature parks today. Like, you could see rhinos in North America and stuff.
Mm.
Then people have a way of getting bored of these things. It's uncanny, but true.
Well, yeah, that's true. Let's see.
Clam James says, if sorry, by the way, I'm hogging the chat,
No, it's
but
okay.
he asks if they get a commission, do you have to pay extra? No, if you get a commission from me, you pay through Patreon and you can see everything. So yeah.
Nice. What else? Did I link everything? I think we've got another link. No, I linked everything.
Yeah, I had the commissions page too, I think. cmkozeman.com/coms.html.
I'm not finding your comms. You have?
Wait. Should I put it in chat on
No.
YouTube?
Can you DM it to me on Discord, please?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a tall errand.
I'm
Okay,
sure.
where first? Oh God.
I'm putting you on the spot now.
Wait. I'm gonna do this.
All right.
I'm in the little spooklings thing. Can I
You can.
input
Yeah.
that into?
Yeah. You can put it in the stream chat, or it should be good anywhere.
Okay.
If it's in the wrong section.
I got it.
Oh, nice. You put in the right You're putting in the right section too.
Yeah, I'm learning.
Hello, cookies. Hey, Curtis. Hello, Jamie. Hello, Blake. I'm so behind on saying hello to everyone. Oh, you did it. Hell yeah. All right. So if you'd like a commission from CM, check it out.
And I draw everything. Except for like smut and like gore and violence. I don't like those. And as to what defines smut, I know it when I see it. So yeah, yeah. Look,
Nice. I'm sorry, I didn't expect you to say that. Hey, Josie, welcome to the stream. Okay, so I've got So, what Turkish cryptids are there that you're interested in?
oh, nice.
Yeah.
There's actually like, so I think cryptids are really fascinating in non-Western countries, and I think Turkey is a special case because it's a non-Western country that pretended to be Western for so long. So a lot of the things have like this sort of weird dark mirror version of themselves in Turkey. Like, we had this character that was like a Turkish Steve Irwin, but he was also chasing down political scandals and stuff too. And then he was also involved with like magic and like unknown phenomena. And so yeah, like many Western popular culture personalities or trends have their reflection in Turkey in a weird warped way. And we also have cryptids, and we also even have people interested in cryptozoology. Thanks to the unifying effect brought about by the internet, this trend is accelerating. So a monster I could quote you is the Lake Van monster. That's the VAN, Lake Van monster. And this creature was sighted in the 1980s. So Lake Van is in the eastern provinces of Turkey. And it's a very, very big, it's almost like an inland sea. And so people reported seeing this. People were on a boat because it's such a big lake that there are ferries across it. And people reported this giant hairy animal with big eyes come out of the water and look at the ferry. And it was just like, whoa. And it was like a sensation. And throughout the 1990s and the early 2000s, there were always these like grainy videos of like something in the water. Probably it's cattle swimming, by the way. But yeah, that
Oh,
there is a thing. Yeah, yeah. There are also more weird and obscure cryptids. Like one of them is called the Ushak alien. That's the USAK. And actually, if you go to my channel on YouTube, I'm on YouTube too. mm, There's a video about the Ushak alien encounters where I'll rephrase it for you, but in 2003, a family reported encountering a floating creature with no arms, skin like aluminum, glowing eyes, glowing red feet, and like a glowing basically power orb in its chest. And they throw stones at it because you're scared, you're with your family, why wouldn't you? And it flew away. The media had a field day with this thing. They said, oh, look at those country bumpkins. That was our first contact. They stoned an alien, blah, blah, blah. And like that angle was really played. And this thing was really famous for a while. I actually did a deep dive research on this. And it turns out a number of people reported these things afterwards. The initial family who encountered them, 1 year later, they said, oh, we encountered them again. And they also became minor celebrities on their own right. So it looks like they were milking the media hype. They were like yeah. So, but it really gets weird because when I was doing the deep dive research, I always approach things from multiple angles. So the Uşak region, it's in western Turkey. It's basically a part of ancient Phrygia, okay? I mean, we got thousands of years of history here.
mm,
And so I began to research these. There's a like government operated academic portal that collects all the masters and doctorate theses for about everything in Turkey. It's in the Turkish language. And, being so, a lot of the research is subpar, but there are actually some really good efforts, especially in sociology, folklore, and ethnic studies.
mm.
And to my great surprise, there was a lot of folklore research in the same place, the same place where these people saw these aliens. People did a lot of folkloric research, and that basically involves going to villages. And remember, outside of the big cities, until very recently, like until the 1980s or something, there used to be villages without electricity. People still followed like really deep time honored lifestyles.
Mm.
So in the 70s and 80s, there was lots of ethno-linguistic studies and like folkloric studies, basically documenting local customs and legends and stuff. And yeah, that was that. And to my great surprise, from the Uşak region, there were lots of legends about flying men. They call them flying fathers. This is incredible. I mean, like,
Mm.
I think it's one of my contributions to like unique research. So people reported literally like holy men coming out from their tombs in a ball of light, flying around, then flying back at dawn and stuff like this. And these legends have a number of versions. And apologies, just muting my mic for 1 second.
All good. Thank you very much, Zoopda, for the $50. That is greatly appreciated. I'm gonna heart it and like it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hello.
By the way, yeah,
Oh,
I came back.
Oh, welcome back. Hello,
Yeah,
Press V. Welcome. A colonel says, I think Turkish culture and recent politics is interesting because it's a weird mix of Eastern and Western culture.
yeah. I mean, like, especially politics. I don't want to be political, but I always used to say that, Turkey, mild autocracy, lots of scandals, lots of corruption. And then when I was studying in the States, everybody's like, I was like, man, we're not behind you. We're 100 years ahead of you. And it's so nice to see that prophecy coming true now. It's it's such a nice sort of like it's like the Turkish delight of Schadenfreude. Now that no American can look me in the eye and they have a better functioning system than Turkey, or this also goes for anybody living in, I don't know, Egypt, Indonesia, Romania, Hungary, wherever. Like the whole world is a sea of seething corruption and Roman levels of backstabbing and plots and stuff. That's the way politics have always been conducted. But yeah, anyways.
It's true. Yes, Kamal, I know I laugh a lot. It's what I do.
Your
Hello, Rose.
laughter is beautiful. It's infectious. I like it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So Rose says, fantastic art. And their favorites are String Children and Lamphead. But also, have you ever
Oh,
tried stretchy ice cream? And what is your favorite flavor?
hmm. So stretchy ice cream, it's this kind of street vendor thing. It's like a tourist thing, actually. They make a special sort of ice cream in the Marash province, which is like very stretchy. And you may have seen this on TikTok or memes, or if you traveled, that if you're a tourist, there are these ice cream stands where people play with the stretchy ice cream and they make you a cone. But you try to grab it and they yank it away from you. They're like acrobats with the cones, so you can never really grab it. So I haven't been a fan of that kind of ice cream. Um, but I think if I was to have it, my favorite would be the original flavor. I mean, there's something like vanilla or stuff. But when it comes to ice cream, I usually go for like the the balls in a cone kind of stuff, and I get lemon, strawberry, and chocolate are my favorite flavors.
Sounds so good.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. The Colonel's half Turkish and half Japanese and studied a lot of Western
Oh,
politics. Hell yeah.
really nice. My respect and kindest regards to you. And yeah. I mean, like, also, I mean, being Japanese, I mean, you had something very similar to recent world events where their ex prime minister was assassinated too by this psycho who built this homemade gun contraption. So look, when times are tough, people all over the world, they generally behave along similar lines, and those are not pleasant lines.
Sure.
So yeah.
Curtis. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I just
Oh,
got
colonial.
distracted by the talk about ice cream. Like, I was like, I could go for ice cream now.
So there's like I love this. There's the discussion about political motives in presidential assassinations, and parallel discussion about stretchy ice cream going on at the same time, and that's just wonderful.
I, li- I like how my brain's like, politics? No, we'll think about the ice cream instead. No.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, thank you, Kamal. I appreciate that. Um, okay, so I'm just. I went, no, wait. We got the dinosaur question. Someone read my mind. Oh, so I love apocalypse stories, as people can tell. How do you think the world will end? Like as a planet,
Well,
but also humanity.
I think with a whimper than a bang.
Mm.
These are like very big questions. I think humanity has a lot to live. I mean, Western civilization can collapse, and like, you know, even very dark things can happen given long enough time, like nuclear war or stuff. But people will persist. People are very resilient, especially in minor communities. So I think humanity has a long, long time to go. I can't even fathom to imagine how that will be. Remember, still, a lot of the world is still relatively uncolonized by people. I mean, you in Australia, you're 20 million people, you got a whole continent to yourself. So there's still lots of places people can inhabit. And it's very hard to like kill everyone at the same time, you know? Certainly it's possible for civilization to collapse and for things to regress to a simpler time. And who knows, maybe that will be more sustainable in the longer run. I think, I don't know. I mean, if there's something like a great cometary impact or something, okay, that can wipe us out.
Mm.
But until that, I think people have a long time to go. And a lot of fiction in that respect is, I think, under-imaginative. I mean, there's always like, for example, there's always the case of like a nuclear war as an end-all story.
Mm.
Or like there was a war and everybody died, and okay, yeah, these things can be really destructive. But it's very hard to get everybody at the same time. I mean, you would have still billions of people living in places like India and stuff. I mean, Africa is a whole continent.
I think if it did happen, it would need a combination of things at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, even things like global warming, okay, they can exact a great toll. Cities can drown, but you know, there will still be that one village in the Taurus Mountains or some people in the Himalayas and stuff. Yeah. So a lot of your fandom is super interested in zombies, and somebody is saying we're getting zombies. I don't know how illogical that is.
Yeah. A lot of my stories are apocalypse based, so that's probably why.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't preclude settings for really dark stories. I mean, you can have really dark stories without without humanity dying out. But just imagine something like I think S.M. Sterling has a great series of books called Dies the Fire. It's, well, I think it's a series of 9 books now. And so here's what happens. One day, one night, the laws of physics subtly change. So guns and internal combustion and electricity don't work anymore. Boom. And then the first book in this series is just one of the darkest things I've ever read. It's like The Road on steroids, where people are banding together to not only like sustain themselves, because you know the power doesn't work. The first night all the airplanes fall out of the sky. And then one of the characters, she's running in the street, and she runs by a bakery, and she looks at the cake and then says, how was this cake baked? Oh my God. How did the baker get his ingredients? Probably from a supermarket. Cars don't work anymore. Where is the supermarket going to get its products from? From the farm. Oh no. How did the farm work? Oh no, combine harvesters don't work anymore. And then, like, it's the first hour of the first night. and they realize how deep and dark this thing is. And I think stuff like that, it is fiction, of course. So the first book is all about trying to survive and also trying to fight other bands of people. And they're like really dark scenes. So it's set in the United States. So highways still remain, but bikes are still like bicycles are the most convenient way to travel suddenly. And I mean, the survivors like hide, and in just one of the chapter openings, they're parked, they're like hiding near a road, and with binoculars, they just watch like two gangs of bike riding people dying of hunger, and they just like, I mean, they just tear each other apart with like hammers or like knives or shanks and stuff, and they watch this from a distance. And it's really dark because when the story is telling you, like, he tells that, you know, just 2 weeks ago these people were like housewives or like somebody's grandmother or like, I don't know, it's really dark. And yeah,
Oh my god, I need to read that. It's like, ooh, that sounds horrible.
it's Dies the Fire by S.M. Sterling. It's a very long series. The first book is the harshest one. Second and third book are also great, but they kind of like evolve into an almost like medieval series of like battles and stuff. And then like by the middle of the second book, they manage to establish some sort of society again. And then the second half of the second book and the third book is just wars against a rival faction. And that's interesting to read, but it doesn't have the same like gut-wrenching quality.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But as to like how the world will end,
Yes.
I think it will only end when the sun dies. I don't know.
Yeah, that I think that sounds about right. I think life will linger on the planet up until the very end, and then it's like, well,
Yeah, it's curtains. Yeah.
we had a good run, folks.
Yeah. I mean, it's just these things are such big events that I don't think our minds evolved to fathom them. But still, I think like a lot of your community is interested in story writing and stuff.
Oh, definitely.
So, I mean, one of the I also write short stories, by the way.
Ooh,
So
hell yeah.
yeah. It's if you once again go to cmkozman.com. Wait, let me plug it in. cmkozman.com/ just bear with me, please.
Okay.
/stories.html. You can read like 5 short stories I wrote, and there's many more, but I'm only publishing the ones that have been published before. So yeah, there are those. I mean, one of the stories like, that has been on my head for a while, and I've been mulling it over. Imagine like a world in which the city and the countryside have been separate for, I don't know, 20,000, 30,000 years. It's the rural urban divide, but with a vengeance. So we don't know what, but for some reason, the city burns. And the story opens like from horizon to shining horizon, the city burned. And it's been 40,000 years like this. So technology looks like almost like semi-organic things now, vehicles and stuff. And I still have to like nail down the main thrust of the story, but it's all about a bunch of countryside people camping out in this like cataclysmic event. We don't know what happens, but the city is burning. And then out in the countryside fork of the road, it's a humid summer night. these 3 siblings camp out, 2 brothers and a sister, and they just keep shooting up escaping vehicles, killing everybody inside, and trying to like make sense of what these people did for a living in the city, because it's been 20,000 years. The anatomies of the city dwellers are different, and the vehicles are like semi-organic. Like when you shoot them, they bleed and they scream, and there's a plot point about like how the brothers are reluctant to kill children, but the sister does it because she doesn't want any competition. So it's, I don't know. I still have to nail this down, but
I
so
love
like
that story idea. That is awesome. If you ever want someone to narrate it, I mean, shameless.
yeah. The end bit goes like, I mean, you expect these people to like, they literally like, it's like natural born killers. So like, they go through a lot of like corrupt people, disgusting people who deserve it, and a lot of people who don't. And you kind of expect a retributive sense of justice, but the end of the story goes is like, oh, this brother lived to be 60 where he died, and then he died after a farming accident. He got his hand infected. The other brother died when he was 100, surrounded by his grandchildren. The sister went on to have 40 kids, and what? So it's just like a coda. So all I'm saying is, remember we talked about the massacre of the giant baboons in the earliest part of our call with you.
I remember.
You like you. So if you want to write something like this, zoom out and find the setting. It should be like a turning point. Maybe it's a natural disaster, or maybe it's a point where things come to a head. And then zoom into the point of view of 1 or 2 people. I mean, the guys who killed all those baboons, I mean, were they doing it for meat, or maybe, baboons themselves can be quite vicious, and these were giant baboons the size of gorillas. So maybe the baboons raided their village first or something. So then you can zoom into the perspective of a single character, or a few characters. And then you can write in something like, and don't connect it to like, nobody has to save the world. I mean, there has to be, you have to make a point, okay. But I mean, it could be something as simple as like, oh, I mean, even though they were beasts, it was gross to kill them. How could you do it, mama or daddy? And then the father says, I don't know, you have to hit with love for your kids and not out of hatred for these things. If you kill with love, you can kill the entire world. Stuff like that.
I like that idea. Am I getting I think I'm getting a lag spike.
Well, I don't know how that works, but I'm all fine here. My connection is good.
Okay. Okay, good. Chat, is everything working? Is there any lag for you guys? Okay. Kamal asks, he would like to know about your animalistic surrealism art style. What were your biggest inspirations?
All right. So that's the best thing. When I'm painting my surrealist paintings, I have no inspirations. I just muck around on the paper, and I just want to create something that's consistent, something that looks beautiful, and something that I would want to hang on my wall, and something that I've never done before, something that's never been seen before. Of course, when doing that, I draw from my own inspirations and like my own, what I know about natural history and art history and folk art and stuff like that. But usually those are all improvised, 100% improvised.
Sorry, I was a little, it freaked me out a little bit. I'm like, no, god damn. Sorry, it's just a weird time for my internet at the moment.
Yeah, you still have copper internet, right? Copper fibers.
No, so it's like half. So,
Mm-hmm.
oh no, you're gonna start me on the NBN rant again. I've ranted
Yeah, yeah.
about this several times. So, years ago, Australia had the option for going full, I think, fiber optic, like
Mm-hmm.
nationwide. But no,
Uh-huh.
Australia voted in a government that kept the copper fiber. Ended up being uh, it took longer to put in. It was more expensive in the end, and our internet's still slow. I'm still mad about it.
And there are techno industrial urban legends about how like your country mainstream mainframes, like the computer that stores population records and stuff, that is still like something built in the 70s and it's like an arcane thing now. But also it's been improved to keep up with the times, so it's this like one of a kind unique mega machine, and I just love those things. I don't know if those stories are real, but yeah.
I'm not sure either.
Mm-mm-mm.
Colonel, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, Colonel Kai is flexing his
I know,
500
damn.
megabyte Japanese rice farm internet.
Coming into my
Oh.
chat, Colonel, and mocking my bad Australian internet. Not so good. Oh, I just move in next door, so don't mind me.
Oh, Audio Curtis has the most adorable comment. My grandma thought that if she got faster internet, it would help. It would let criminals steal her money faster.
Oh dear.
Go call her and tell her you love her. It's adorable.
That was sweet. Colonel, that sounds like the
Colonel,
dream for me. Like, just it's
Colonel Kai
remote,
is
good
he's
in.
flexing the rant now.
He is flexing the rent, flexing how remote it is. Oh, you really
Well,
are.
look, if I travel to Japan, can I be your guest? Mm-mm. Escape the Turkish economic crisis. God damn, yeah, it is really hitting hard. It really is hitting hard.
Scrubby says, naturally at a higher ping behind the rest of the world. That is true. Whenever I game with my friends, like, why is your ping so high? I'm like, I know, it's because I'm from Australia. Oh,
Oh,
Rose has a question for you. What do
yep.
you think about time travel? And what is the most
Mm.
unique take you've seen?
I mean, the go-to book for that is there's a really nice academic book. Let me just find the author name.
All good.
Just a second. Mm-mm-mm. It's called How to Build a Time Machine: The Real Life Science of Time Travel by Brian Clegg. That's Clegg. There's also another academic, like another. Oh, it's called Time Machines. Okay, this is the one. This is the one. It's called Time Machines: Time Travel in Physics, Metaphysics, and Science Fiction by Paul J. Nahin. That's Nahin. So books like this are really eye-opening. I am not very well versed on the exact workings of the physics. It seems that like it is maybe theoretically possible, but only for smaller particles. I don't think I don't think we will ever see like a physical machine where like a man can step into and actually be transported back in time. I think even the mechanics of time travel. So the way I understand it, causality does not flow. It's not like a train track, back, forth, and then maybe if you change something, there's like a timeline change, so you can go sideways and then back and forth and stuff like that. I don't think it's that simple because I think this all depends on the number of observers, which are as many as, I don't know, like every human, insect, bird, bacteria has their own way of collapsing the probability space. That's to say, by observing the world, we make it real, but the entirety of life makes it real. And so it's like, imagine like a rhizomic network of probabilities going back and forth. So moving back and forth along that framework is not as simple as like going back or forth. It's not like a monorail. It's not even like a rail network you can switch from side to side. But I think it's like traveling down this sort of infinite fishnet that keeps switching its nodes as you travel. So it's just very weird. I don't think it's physically possible for any observer to do this. This is, I would say it with a very, 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 very big pinch of salt. Maybe if society spent as much time on internal research, like that is to say meditation, I mean, things which we kind of laughingly sideline as astral projection or psychedelics or whatever, like if that thing was studied or like concentrated on more deeply, maybe, I don't know, maybe some glimpses, but I don't take it with a huge grain of salt. Long story short, I think the nature of time is infinitely more complex than anybody can realize. I think it's impossible to build a machine, but maybe in a fictional way, it might be possible to just train yourself to dream in a certain way, to get glimpses from other worlds and other realities. Maybe some of our dreams are actually misfirings of a feature, a capability that can also use that can also be used as a time machine if wielded correctly. Who knows?
Let's give me a
So
story
that's my
idea.
like
I'm like, ooh.
psycho rant. Yeah.
No, it's good. So now we're on like the topic of time travel. If you could travel back to any time period or time periods, so you have multiple
Oh,
options, where would you go and when?
many good answers for that. Mm-hmm. I would like to visit Athens during the time of Pericles, when they really seem to have this really strange, weird. You could have a modern conversation with a lot of those golden age Greek people. I would also like to see then Constantinople during the time of, at the apogee, right before the reign of Justinian, probably.
Nice.
I would love to see I might be butchering the pronunciation, but Tenochtitlan, the Native American city that was
Aztecs?
basically, the Aztec city that Mexico City itself replaced. Apparently, it was like a really interesting place when Europeans first reached it. So I would love to see that place. So I think most of my go-to destinations are like historic world cities at their best time, you know? Where else? I would love to. There are a lot of mysterious places too. Like, it's maybe a cliche answer, but Stonehenge, what was it used for? Nobody really knows.
I want to
Nobody
know.
really knows.
I want to know who the sea peoples were.
Oh.
Because they just came in and messed everyone up and went, okay, bye.
Yeah, looks like nobody knows about that too. I think like they were not very mysterious, but at their own time, they were like, nobody liked these people. So they were very quickly forgotten because nobody wanted to remember that stuff. And probably they left their mark in genetics and stuff. Where else? I got many, and these are all within human history now. There are these like Indus Valley civilization and Harappan civilization, these like really little understood Asian civilizations that arose very early in human history. And then like back deeper in time, there's this place called Wrangell Island where the last mammoths used to live. I would love to see that. I would love to see Madagascar before humans got to it. I would love to see Australia when it had an active megafauna, you know, all those diprotodonts and giant
terror
wombats.
birds.
Yeah. Those things. Actually, one thing I would really like to know is, I think the jury is still out on this one. Like, how was Australia settled by the Aboriginals? Was it a Polynesian radiation, or did they come in from the north, from Papua, or maybe a mix of all those things? Like,
I think it was
deep
from
time.
Africa.
Yeah, that's one theory, right? Like,
Yeah, that's one
straight
theory.
east from Africa. Like, probably there's I don't know. Like, also like the way Polynesians navigated the seas. That would be interesting to see. I would love to like spend some time, I don't know, like sail with a Polynesian boat from Hawaii to Easter Island. That's half of the globe's surface, by the way. I mean, these people, that was not blind reckoning. They clearly had like some sort of navigation. Maybe it was instinctive. Who knows? How this was done, nobody knows. There are a lot of like genuine mysteries on Earth without needing any UFOs or vampires or zombies. Not to belittle any of those concepts, but like I would love to like be there to see how that really was like.
I'd love to see what all the cities underwater, like under the ocean, were like in their heyday.
Oh yeah. Number of those. In the Black Sea, actually. The Black Sea was a basin which flooded. And yes, I mean, where else? I would like to see. It's a local particularity, but I would like to see Istanbul at the height of the Ottoman Empire. There are these entire books about. So this is really crazy. This is what I really like this about reading like commonplace history, and this is not like deep dark time. It's I think the 1500s or the 1600s. But the Ottomans themselves, they were not really good with like keeping day-to-day notes of their daily lives. Of course, there's like extensive records about how the state functioned and like how power operated. So we got all of that. But stuff like street food or like just the way people dressed and stuff, we can only infer them from like very slight hints. And there are these documents. So there's a couple of folios chronicling the entertainment at one of the Sultan's sons' circumcision ceremonies, okay? And it's wild. It's like, have you ever watched Miyazaki's Pompoko?
No.
Studio Ghibli's. So
No.
it's like a surreal parade. They have got all these like and it's all the folios are drawn with the like classical like weird two-dimensional Ottoman miniature style. So you got things like, I don't know, boats being paraded on carts and like people. Shrabi says paprika. No, not paprika. It's actually pompoko. Pompoko. It's about shape-shifting raccoons and they hold a surreal parade. So yeah. So that is a surreal parade. And there's anecdotes like I mean, this is, I think Freud would have a field day with this, but in this parade, they built they built these like really tall, almost Christmas tree like portable trees. They just paraded around the town, and they were like maybe 20 meters tall, or nobody really knows, but they were really tall, okay? And they were called Nahil, that Nahil, whatever. And it's actually a pre-Islamic Turkish tradition. It's like basically parading a tree of life around the city among this weird, surreal parade. And, you know, Istanbul famously has narrow streets, and the houses are made out of wood, especially back in those days. And they had these wooden overhangs overhanging the street. Now the Freudian circumcision parade trees were so tall that sometimes it was necessary so the parade would walk with a team of sappers preceding it. The sappers would demolish houses that were like lower than the nahils, so the trees could pass down without bending. And of course, if your house was demolished to let the Sultan's circumcision ceremony tree pass, you had 2 sacks of gold. And this was more than enough. Like if you had 2 sacks of gold, you could live comfortably, your kids could live comfortably. It was a huge sum. It's like, imagine, I don't know, the president's son is having a bris or whatever, and it's wonderful. So people were actually arguing with their neighbors, saying like, they were saying, no, let the trees come from my street and demolish my house, because I love the Sultan the best. And like, no, the other guys are, no, my street is better. There's a better view. Oh, you'll have to demolish my house, but you know, that's okay. It will be an honor. Crazy. Crazy.
I didn't know that. Like, I don't know much about Ottoman history, but like, what other little facts do you want to share about Turkish history or the Ottomans?
Well, I mean, it's a checkered history, to say the least. It was a very unique civilization, and I don't think like you can. So people try to retroactively map it with. They want to like. Islam was a very strong force in it, but the present incarnation of that religion is very far removed from what went on back then. I think they were, especially at that age, they were a world power, and everything you read about Ottoman history, that sense of superiority, which was later to be their undoing, actually, really permeated their society, the way they thought, they looked at the world. I mean, you got weird anecdotes about like, there's the first Ottoman representative to go to the 13 colonies in the States, and he writes back saying, and like he says, oh, of course, one day we will conquer those places too. Like, but brother, I mean, come on. A lot of weird things. It's hard to like pin down. What I like about Ottoman history the best is not their like domineering ambitions, but the very fact, the details about daily life and stuff, which are like so close in historic terms. It's just 400 years or stuff, but also so alien to us at the same time.
I think it was Mary Beard who said that people from the past are both like us, but also alien to us as well, with the way they think.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yep. So there, but back in time, okay. And if I was to pick a biological time, geological time period to travel, it would have to be, I think, like the Triassic era, where not only the first dinosaurs were becoming a thing, but there were also lots of very weird animals. I would love to see that too.
I
don't know.
What's your favorite period though, with Jurassic, Triassic, etc.?
I think I don't know. I like them all.
I'm just
So
putting you on the spot.
the really gigantic plant-eating dinosaurs with the long necks, sauropods. We can't imagine like we can imagine like okay, one big dinosaur that was 40 meters long or whatever. But remember, these things lived in herds. So imagine like 100 such animals. Like how did they influence their ecology? They must have inadvertently built roads just from the sheer like weight they crashed through the ecosystem. How did they feed? Nobody really knows. We know they ate plants, but how? Nobody really knows. If they fed on trees, how were those forests like? That must have been like green cathedrals. So yeah, I think the time of the biggest sauropods was my favorite. Laura Applewood says Brachiosaurus, but there are also like far bigger ones like Argentinosaurus. There's something called Seismosaurus. There are a whole bunch of those gigantic ones. Nobody really understands, I mean, what exactly their deal was about, but they were there.
I always wonder if they look completely, if they're gonna look so different from what how people have drawn. Like, this is what they probably look like. It'd be funny if they look completely different, and they're like,
Yeah, I mean,
were like neon green or like neon yellow or something. Really, just
yeah, I mean, that's certainly a possibility. We have complete skeletons, but these things were so big and they are without parallel, so there's nothing really we can compare them to. So don't be surprised if there were some really weird unfossilized features like skin flaps or inflatable sacks or crests or stuff. So that's that. Oh yeah, let me take a sip of coffee.
Oh yes, all good. Take a sippy sip. Curtis asks, does anyone have any thoughts on the research into mind-altering drugs? Last I heard, they were trying to communicate with entities previously considered to be hallucinations.
Well, and just to like clear the air before answering, I've never even smoked. I seldom drink. Many people assume me to be this like psychedelic wild man, which is the furthest from the truth. I'm so boring in terms of what I consume recreationally. I mean, my idea of like a recreational drug is an ice cream lolly or something like that. So there is that. That being said, I read up a bit on the subject, and so when people take this thing called DMT, they report having spiritual experiences, and they always report these consistent DMT elf creatures, which look like, they also call them machine elves, and they're like these like, imagine like small people made out of glowing swarms of bees, and they sometimes like try to talk to you, or they go blah, blah, blah. So these seem to be really consistent across different people's DMT hallucinations. My understanding is that I could be wrong. I would be actually happy to be proven wrong. But it doesn't look like these are independent entities, like Smurfs you can only see when you take the right drug. I think a lot of these substances, LSD, DMT, they have like tremendous potential for like helping people think better in managed doses. I think they have tremendous potential as antidepressant drugs, and I mean a lot of these like harmful drugs that psychiatrists like to prescribe, they just dull your mind. But it looks like some of these hallucinogens have at least the potential to like really help the way we think if used correctly. As for the DMT elves, it looks like, so we have this reflex, brain reflex, that gets triggered when we see faces, okay? We have this brain reflexes that get triggered when we see a human form and when we see like movement. It looks like, I would be happy to be proven wrong, but it looks like these DMT elves are actually a side effect of the substance where the part of the brain gets triggered without stimuli. So your like face recognition shortcut or your like human silhouette recognition shortcut, they get triggered without you seeing anything, and as a result you get this visual hallucination. And of course that's why it looks remarkably consistent, because it's like the same area of the brain getting activated. I would be convinced if I could see a DMT elf and if it could give me information that would be impossible to get any other way. Now, that would be a game changer, but to my best knowledge, this hasn't happened yet. There have also been similar experiments, the very famous Gateway experiments, actually, look that up, in which the CIA tried to like train people to meditate and have out-of-body experiences on command. Actually, there are actually like a series of Gateway tapes that the CIA used for their like meditating operatives, you know? And you can find these on YouTube or download them. Download them because when you watch them on YouTube, there are ads and they mess up the experience. But they try to like meditate in a specific way, and they try to like see Russian military bases. And they basically said, okay, think really hard about Vladivostok, okay? What do you see? And of course, you know, you make things up. Your mind makes things up. Ultimately, the program wasn't successful. And then actually the people running the program wrote a report saying, yeah, we have results, but they don't match with reality because it looks like we are bleeding into parallel universes, which is like
nice.
It's really funny. So, but as a byproduct, I think they created the best meditation tape ever. I have tried sleeping and meditating with these Gateway tapes. They really clear your mind. They really change the way you think. They really change the way you think. And they really freshen up your mind. Really try these. See what experience you will have.
I'm gonna try it.
Don't.
I want to see what happens.
Yeah, go. Yeah, Gateway tapes. Go look it up, and don't try it expecting to go to another realm. But like you have the best night's sleep. Like, and Lady Spookaria, please try this and let me know how it goes.
I'll let you know. It sounds interesting.
I tried this laying on the floor flat with like on the carpet basically, and I had saliva drool out of my mouth when I did this. And it hasn't happened to me since I was 5, and it's wonderful.
If I lie on the floor, I'm pretty sure one of my cats would come and just like sleep on my tummy or something. I'll try it though.
Yeah. Well, those are your DMT elves. You are seeing entities.
My cats. I start seeing my cats as these mystical monsters.
Yeah.
So Rose asked an interesting question. What do you think of our advances in technology when comparing it to how society has developed in a mental sense? Do you think it has helped or hurt us overall?
I think these days it's really hurting us.
Mm.
People make a lot about technology, but I think the greatest advancement of technology happened nearly 100 years ago, where in one generation people went from horses to airplanes and atomic weapons, railroads, internal combustion engines. Remember, technology, tech stuff is always downwind, downstream from logistics. You went from a much larger and isolated world into a world where you could like go into a ship, cross an ocean, fight a war there. And I think that was the biggest advancement of technology ever. And we know how that went. I mean, it ended with world wars. But maybe if it stopped there, somehow you can't really put a stop to these things. But if it stopped there, and if it was managed sustainably, of course, who's going to manage these? Look, like there's another caveat. Like, imagine you appoint like technology commissars, and like it would take only one generation for those people to turn corrupt. That's what happened with the Soviets. That's what happened with. That's what's happening with our world order now. Systems don't matter. People are monkey. Monkeys are tribal. People will turn corrupt regardless of the system, regardless of the ideology, regardless of the technology. If you leave a cadre of people in power for 2 generations, and just consider, how many presidents are the sons of other presidents, huh? After 2 generations, the rot sets in. So, like, that's a side. So this is our like supporting answer to answer the technology question. Now, it seems that technology is developing a lot these days. I mean, I'm talking to you through a screen. Everybody has a mobile phone. I actually have a low opinion of AI. I think many tasks that AI can do well are actually like shit jobs that nobody needed to do in the first place. Do you need an illustration? Do you really need a picture on your soda pop bottle? Do you really need a wall of text on a PR release for a wet wipe chemical company? Do you really need an essay for school? No, these are just fed by billions of examples people amassed in the previous 10 years with AI. And with certain exceptions, I think if something can be done well by AI, that job didn't need to be done in the first place. It was a make-do job kind of thing. I mean, I work in advertising, and it's like, oh, we can really like get our company's boilerplate text written well with these new. Who reads this? It's a ritual you put out. Anyways, I could get a lot nastier on this. So going back to Rose's questions, I think of course it's helped us. I mean, look, it helps us in like far easier ways. Like, imagine you are on a WhatsApp group with your family. You don't know how to fix the boiler. You ask your dad, and he tells you, okay, that's that. Imagine your pet is sick. You look on a YouTube video and you see what's wrong. So, you don't give your dog chocolate anymore and stuff like that. Stuff like that are like, there are a million beneficial interactions that way. I mean, it really makes people get in touch with each other. It's the things we don't even appreciate.
I think, but sorry.
No, do go on.
On the other hand of that, like particularly with young people, like children, and say constantly watching TikTok or having excessive, say, iPad usage, I think that's very detrimental.
Okay, that's fucked up. I agree. That's really bad. especially with this Gen Alpha kids. They throw tantrums and stuff when the screen is taken away from them. I famously don't use a smartphone. I have a computer, but when I log off, it stays off.
That's what I'm like with Discord. If I had it on my phone, it would be too much. I wouldn't be able to cope with it. It'd be too much.
Even with like other platforms like Twitter and Instagram, like your brain is not meant to. So we have this kind of like gossip reflex. Everybody needs to keep up to date with what's happening around them because survival reasons, and there's also a pleasure feedback loop built into this. So like when you gossip, it feels good because you see what people are up to. You laugh at their misfortunes and okay. But when that's on an infinite, endless loop, connected to people you really shouldn't care about, I mean, your mind, your soul is not. Your soul doesn't have that bandwidth. End up comparing yourself to others. Everybody's depressed. Once again, going back to my advertising career, we used to have these in the advertising sector. There used to be these like surveys with teenagers or the youth demographic, and I've been reading these results in different countries for since the 2010s. Okay, up until like 2014 or something. The biggest experience that teenagers reported was feeling boredom. Oh, I'm bored. There's nothing to do. I'm bored. There's nothing to do. Like that was like I mean, imagine this. People would wake up. Not everybody had internet access. So you would just sit around being bored, sleep on the couch, think, maybe read a book, maybe watch TV. TV was the big bugbear then, it turned your brain into mush.
I remember. It was called the idiot box.
Yeah, and now in contrast, it feels like a palliative. After 2014, 15, the most common answer was like, what's your most common feeling every day? Anxiety, depression, even stuff like suicidal ideas. The future is uncertain. So it's a big shift. And I think technology has a real contributing factor. I think it's the main driving factor. You're simply not meant to have access to everything all the time. Even when it's on a computer, you end up taking the computer to bed. It's addictive. And you just can't say, people say, you can control yourself. You can't. It's like heroin. You can't.
Like I can't.
Sorry, do go on.
Like I can't have devices in my bedroom at all. Like, some people have their computers in their room and their phone and everything. I can't do that. I've got an office. And then
you are so freaking based.
Oh, I hate the light from it. I hate having a TV, and it's like it's for my bed.
Yep.
And if the only thing I do look at is a book.
I mean, really, maybe there needs to be like a government. I mean, that's what governments are for if you think about it, like health awareness campaign all across the world saying like screens off the bedroom or something like that. I think we're going to see the evolution of some device etiquette in the coming decades because, I mean, this state of affairs is just unsustainable. Remember all those like Mad Men years, 1960s, 1950s, where like it's a doctor's office and everybody's smoking. It's an airplane and everybody's smoking. It's a bus, everybody's smoking. It's like that today. It's a subway, everybody's scrolling. It's the bedroom, everybody's scrolling. It's I don't know, like. So I think it's gonna be rude to actually look at the phone in certain contexts. And I think governments need to do like, I mean, just it doesn't have to be bans, or although, but I think they would help. I think they should just ban connectivity on any device that's less than 1 kilogram in weight.
I don't know. I think a lot of it is because when you go out to restaurants and you see like I'm in Chinatown, you see the youth on their phones, and they're like sitting with their friends and just all on their phones, and it's not like they're like looking at something and then showing their friends like like, hey, look at this. It's like they're just all in their own little world. I'm like, why go out? But like you see older people doing it too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
at least those are in a group. I think the worst is when people in their late 20s or 30s, they're on a date, but both parties are looking at the phone.
Yep.
No way that relation is going to end happily.
I don't think it really has a chance to begin.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder how communication will be. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, please interrupt.
So basically, a big part of learning how to socialize and empathize is being able to look at someone's face. Seeing their reactions and everything else, and having them see yours. If they're not getting that, communication's going to it's going to break down a lot, or it's going to change.
Yeah, I mean, look, a lot of these iPad kids, they're going to have like a rough awakening when social life hits them. And as you very rightly said, like, that's how empathy begins to develop. And like, if you don't have that, you're gonna get that taught to you, maybe kinetically at times. So yeah, I mean,
or maybe like we'll get chips in our head, and that will be.
I think those are impractical. I think they say, oh yeah. Look, first of all, it's an invasive surgery. It's one thing when you're paralyzed and you need, you get that brain chip implant, and even that's not a direct interface to the brain, which is, I think, impossible to manage. It's one thing to do that. It's another thing to like have brain Instagram and, oh, what if your chips get an infection? So yeah. Rose Black has a very nice point, by the way.
Oh, do you want to read it out?
Yeah.
You can read.
She says, "Do you think boredom is a necessary component to develop imagination?" Exactly. You need to be bored. Boredom is actually just introspection. Apologies. There's a phone call. I'm just taking it. So why don't you give me a second?
That's all good. I'll catch up on the chat. Just let me know when you're back. Alright, let's see. Oh my god, you're also chatty. Lady Boomer based. These damn kids. And that's true, Curtis. They did say the same thing about books. I'm sorry, guys. I'm behind in the chat again. I know this never happens. Kaya, is that how you pronounce it? I'm sorry. I'm guessing that's how you pronounce it. I mispronounce everything. There's social media with endless scroll gives you such an information overload that it's just not possible to process it all, and it eventually breeds fatigue and weariness. I very much agree. Let's see. So I missed a bit. If you got questions, please tag me, because it's a bit easier to see, because it highlights my name. Zoop, what do you mean? VA digression? I'm not sure what you mean, Zoop. Welcome back. Let's see. Oh my god, yes, I got it right. Hello, Muhammad, welcome.
They say something doubles as a zombie apocalypse weapon.
Wait, what doubles as a zombie apocalypse? One
Oh,
zoop?
I think it's Zoopter Doopter talking about their body shaming 32,000 ruggedized tablet. Oh, yes, like a giant tablet, which I think we were talking about not letting devices lighter than a kilogram have connectivity, and I think it's riffing off of that.
Oh yeah. Okay. I get behind in my own chat sometimes.
Yeah, you got a very nice community.
I know. I'm very blessed with my community. They're a good bunch.
I see some of my friends too. Kyra Fiskrov is a longtime friend and supporter.
Excellent. Excellent.
I think Skibidi Toilet is a great thing, by the way. It's just this like, look, when you're a kid, you get a kind of kick out of making these things that are like incomprehensible and a little irreverent to your parents. So you kind of like enjoy not offending them, but you enjoy their sense of puzzlement. And I think like each generation one ups the other. So like in our generation, it was things like South Park or stuff, or I don't know, like computer games. And yes, Skibidi Toilet, I don't know.
I saw it and I was just like, I don't get it. I feel so old.
No, I get it. I get it. Actually, like Skibidi Toilet is one of the few things I can respect about this newest upcoming generation. I generally have I generally have good hopes for younger people. They're always better than older people, that's for sure.
Well, I think
I mean, like,
it's when they're in that stage where they're just full of ideas
mm-hmm.
and just they want to discover things and they haven't been like smacked down by like parents like you should study this instead or something like that.
Mm-mm-mm. And I think like Skibidi Toilet has even its faint echo in high intellectual circles. Remember Marcel Duchamp's ready-made sculpture called Fountain. So this is a defining moment in art history. In 1917, like 1917, World War I is raging, remember? And this is one of the vanguard works of Dadaism. And this sculptor just took a urinal and placed it in a gallery and called it a fountain. Marcel Duchamp was also a painter and was a cubist painter. He is a really talented, so he's not a hack. Like if you look at some of his earlier paintings, Marcel Duchamp, Marcel Duchamp. So he kept making these really nice paintings, kinetic paintings and surrealist photo montages. And then one day, I don't know, out of probably frustration aimed towards the arts establishment, he just put a urinal in a gallery and called it a sculpture. And I think there's a connection between that and Skibidi Toilet. So you take Duchamp's urinal, you give it the potency of social media, and let's face it, I mean, look, a lot of millennial or Gen X parents, they want to be hip and cool, but they have this annoying sense of almost prude conformity to themselves. So it's like, aha, yeah, Star Wars, yeah, Darth Vader, yeah, ha, cool, yeah. And then, no, you got parents like that. Yeah, I'd like to shove a toilet in their face too. I'd like to scare them, shock them. So I get you. I get you.
I didn't expect like the American accent to come out. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes, I hate all the beige.
Yeah,
What's your
millennial beige wave.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, like I
Like
saw.
that.
Oh, sorry.
So you know this like there's this very particular way of dressing that young mothers do. It's I call it the I got my shit together shirt. It's these like work shirts that are really crisp, but they have the white and blue stripes. So I call that the I got my shit together shirt. So it's like for putting on appearances when in public. When you go home, you go give your son and daughter hell over a minor infraction. That's a dangerous look. So yeah, oh my god, the beige. So like if your mother has the I got my shit together shirt on, yeah, I think you earned the right to skibidi all your heart out. All the more power to you.
But like no, so I saw school teachers having beige in like kids' classrooms, and I mean like kindergarten, so
No,
really young. And I'm like, but they need color to like, because it
no.
gets them working.
It's bad. It's bad. Yeah.
Like, see you, Pressed. Thank you very much for coming to the stream. Much appreciated. But yeah, I'm happy we don't like beige everything. That's not.
Mm.
This conversation, I didn't expect us to go down talking about skibbity toilet, but here we and beige.
Yeah. Well, to our credit, we covered a lot of strange ground before that. So
That is true. That is very true. So wait. Oh, actually, do you have any? So I do still have some questions on my little list. What writing tips do you have, or content creation tips?
all right, that's really great. First of all, don't approach content as content. I mean, I use this word too sometimes, but calling everything content like painting, stories, podcasts, calling that content is going like going to a zoo and you see all the zebras, the anteaters, the giraffes, the snakes, the octopi, and calling all of that meat. I mean, it's true, but you miss out a lot of detail. Second of all, in my personal practice, because I don't use a computer, I always find it very. Sorry, I use a computer, but I don't use a smartphone. It's always great to write on paper. When you have an actual pen and you write lines on paper, two things happen. One, you're not distracted by other things, so you finish what you're writing. Number two, you make fewer grammar errors. For some reason, I don't know, like if you type away on a keyboard, you make more grammar mistakes. But when you write with hand, you read what you're writing and you have less mistakes. And then you obviously transcribe that, you like type that out later. So when you're doing the second round of typing, you actually get the editing out of the way too, because you realize there are things you could have changed and stuff. So that comes along naturally. If you're also writing and you don't know where the story is going, you can always keep a. You don't always have to change everything into a story. I personally keep a commonplace book. It's basically a little notebook. And when I have ideas or passages or even words, I just write them there. But I write them like, for example, let me just read it to you. Wait, let me get this book now.
Okay.
Okay, so it's here. So, I mean, here I have one note saying like, one by one they died and they were buried until the last survivor went mad with loneliness among the graves. So that's one thing I thought of. And next to each paragraph, I separate each paragraph with at least 3 lines, and I use a school notebook with lines in it. So they're like little like stamps, you know?
Mm.
Another note is, I think, Mm-mm-mm-mm. Wait. I'm trying to read the notes that are not spoilers.
Ooh, spoilers.
Yeah, another note is saying like they had measured everything save the depths of their own minds, and their civilization lay dead in spirit long before it physically decayed. So stuff like this, like so near every paragraph, every note, I have a little box, and if I commit that to a story or a book, I check it so I know that's been used. So this system really works well because you can just collect ideas on the go. You have to have a little notebook, you always have to have a little pen in it, and you always have to carry this in on your person. That's the only way this works. And it's helped me a lot with writing, it's helped me a lot with coming up with ideas. Another idea I see here, like this is actually a spoiler I can give. So imagine bullet calibers in prime numbers. So you have 3 millimeter, 5 millimeter, 7 millimeter. You don't have 9 millimeter because that's not a prime, but you do have 11 millimeter. So I said these are weapons calibers used on Snayad or something. And yeah, even like simple phrases, a house of orifices, or I don't know, it's just so like you can really use this thing as a writing aid. That way you're not pressed to like finish a story, and but you still have lots of materials you can use, so that's lovely.
Yeah.
And I got another name for weird cool names, actually, another notebook for weird cool names, and it's just full of weird obscure names that I just this is a very small notebook, it's like pocket size. I'm just trying to get it out for you.
Oh, good.
And just a second. Ah, sorry.
No, it's all good. Take your time.
Uh, uh, okay, I got it. The notebook of names. So you got names like Detula or Ituz or Zanzara or Elkoras or Penetatrix or Gorgapsis or Pusmasneia or Keramis or Kelidan or Vaenis or Haxinas. It's just cool nonsense names. I'll use them for somewhere. So you have to have like what I'm getting at is you have to work with your hands. You have to build up raw material. Can be names, can be paragraphs, can be concepts, and then use them for the story you're making. For me personally, as we discussed earlier in this very podcast, my stories work best when they're about individual people and their own concerns in a maybe greater, more interesting time. So I think that really works well because you can always relate to an individual better.
Mm.
Or sometimes you just have a weird dream and you just have to make that into a story.
I love the weird dreams
And
that you turn into stories. Like, your dreams just, I don't know, I think it's your logical side of the brain is like switched off, so it's the subconscious, so you can just go anywhere that you wouldn't normally go.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Oh,
Oh,
we
yeah,
answered we answered Rose's question.
yeah. Rose has been really neat, and she's asked some really insightful questions.
Rose is awesome. Rose is also an author as well, and so is Curtis and
Mhm.
Laura.
Laura Applewood says Par Turnax, which is maybe the name of her cat.
Oh
I
no,
don't know.
Parthenax is the name of the dragon in Skyrim.
Oh,
Or
okay.
one of them. Yeah,
Sorry.
it's okay. So
Mm.
Colonel has a question for you. The
Mm-hmm.
Colonel says, I do have a question too. I can only really write, and I feel there isn't much of a platform to get that medium off to any audience, or at least I can't find one. Should I attempt to self-publish?
It depends on what you're writing. If you're writing poems, I would say maybe try to get that published as like an actual small book. I don't know how that would happen, but all around the world there are numerous imprints that, like numerous publishers that help people make their poems. Also, you could self-publish. You could go to an actual copy shop and have like these 12 or 24 page booklets of your poems made. If you're writing stories, maybe they're better off as website, like just host them on a website. Maybe have them on Wattpad. It doesn't really matter. Like the platform really doesn't matter. But have them out there. This day and age, you can even turn them into narrated YouTube videos with those AIs. So
I'm slightly against AI for that. I am biased, but
yeah, or like read it, I don't know. Yeah.
Or you can read it.
Yeah, Laura also says there's a website called Substack, and actually you can even have subscribers to there. But when you're in the first stages of your creative career, don't try to sell them. Like, I mean, it's very, very, very hard to turn this thing into money. In fact, I still have to work as an advertiser to make ends meet.
So, sorry. Depending on the story, you can actually sell them. So I do commission work as well with my writing. So there's that as well.
Another tip, there are also lots of contests, and some of these are very minor, but it doesn't matter. Like, just having your thing out there will really boost your self-esteem. Like, there's a very nice website, bogleech.com. It's run by Jonathan Wojcik, a longtime friend. And he regularly used to have these creepypasta drives where like hundreds of people would send stories, and he would publish them all on his website. And that was just beautiful. So, like, also getting in touch with people and like getting in touch with communities is always like really supportive. It really boosts your self-esteem and you really feel like you've done something real. So, yeah.
There's plenty of options for you, Colonel. I hope these answers have helped.
Yep. And he says thank you, so there's that.
Oh, yeah.
SR-71 Velociraptor sex dream?
What, Zoop? What?
So were you in the airplane when this happened, or like how does that go?
I think Colonel's answer's like mine too. What?
So Zoopter Doopter says, yeah, let me talk about my SR-71, and this is the famous Black Widow airplane, the Velociraptor sex dream.
Laura, I'm listening. Oh my God, Laura! Oh my goodness.
Oh, I will tell.
To hear a Scots thought on the Irish accent. Wait, what? Who? I'm a little bit confused.
I think this is a DMT entity writing now. This is a machine elf writing.
Rose has another question. So we'll wait to see if Zoop finishes typing.
Yeah.
Rose asks, are you familiar with the analog horror genre, and are there any projects you are currently following?
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the genre with the backrooms and stuff like that, right? I know of the Kane Pixels backrooms epic, and I really like those. There are many more titles in that genre, but I just haven't had time to dwell too deeply into them. Oh, one of my favorites in that, I think it would be in that genre, is this short film called No Toro Road or something, and it's all about these like British kids in the British countryside trying to drive back home after a night of partying, and they keep coming to this place called Bennington, and they can't drive away from there. So yeah, it has got that VHS style videography, and yeah, it's just really scary. I have seen No True Road. Yeah, yes, that's a really nice one. So Backrooms I've seen, but I don't know. I don't know as much to tell you in any greater detail, but I see it as a really nice fresh development. I mean, you could argue that the roots of this thing go back a bit down to the Blair Witch Project and, you know, the first found footage horror movies in the 90s and stuff.
I remember
I really
those.
like that. I really like that aesthetic. But I think with the latest incarnation, there's something more to it than just like, oh, getting spooked and you're dead, and which is also nice. I would say that sometimes people lean in too hard on the VHS aesthetics, and it's not limited to analog horror, but I see people making posts on YouTube and like Instagram or TikTok, and like not everything has to have like a VHS static on it to look cool, you know? You can just have proper shots and just like nicely framed shots, and you could also be cool and scary or sexy with that. Yeah.
Curtis, your stories are amazing. Don't put yourself down.
I'm not familiar with the channel, but I will subscribe to it. What's Curtis's channel?
Um, let's see. Wait, Curtis, this isn't your. Oh, it's a different. He's got two channels. I was like, wait a minute, what's happening?
Mm-hmm.
Here it is. I'll put it in the chat.
Yep.
I've got a
Oh
collab
my,
coming
we've
with
been
him as
going
well.
on for nearly 3 hours.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Yes. What does Scots think of
Audio
Irish
stories.
accents? I'm not sure, Zoop. I'm an Australian. I don't know.
One thing I could really like watch. Do you know the Goianas radiation accident?
No.
So this is like a case in Brazil when sorry, somehow a block of radioactive substance was stolen from a hospital from the MRI machine, and this found its way to the house of like these people living in the favelas who were recycling trash metal. And then the guy just picked up that radioactive block and rode around the town on a bus with it, and it led to like many people getting cancers and stuff. So like a real life incident like that, but somehow told through a found footage thing. It could be that, I don't know, like these kids break into this hospital, they somehow steal the radioactive shit as well as a camcorder, and it's just their times in the city, and you somehow know that everybody there around gets poisoned at the end. So there's something to be worked there. So I don't know.
Damn.
Yeah.
Of an episode of Next Generation that was similar.
I am not a fan of that show. I don't know. I have never watched it.
Colonel says found footage goes hard.
Yeah.
What?
But
Wait,
actually, if you look at, sorry. There's also lots to be done with camera trap footage, which doesn't have any like static or like effects. But you know, with camera traps, you can see lots of animals in ways you've never seen them before, and there's certainly like a cryptid movie waiting to be made with the camera trap footage style.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, I've seen like I can't remember what the movie was, but it was like a medieval type one, and they had like the camera on the guy's breastplate, and it
Mhm.
was like it really showed the chaos, like the shields smashing and stuff, and
Yeah.
just how like, oh my god.
Laura Applewood says all is fun and games until the deer stands up. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
You didn't know I was Aussie, Zoop? Oh dear. Am I sounding Scottish or something?
Look, as a fellow guy and you know, as being a bit weird and kinky online myself sometimes in my channel, look, from like man to man, I'll tell you this much. You don't need to like you're already great as you are. You don't need to like amp it up or like drive it up a notch and like I'm sure the all the sex streams with airplanes and velociraptors are wild and stuff, but there are also ways to be more cool and reserved about that too. So just saying, yeah, you know, brother to brother advice kind of thing. I think it's way sexier to be succinct and to the point and cordial. I think you can get a lot more water flowing that way if you know what I mean. You don't need to be like far out there. You don't need to make a spectacle.
I like how this this episode has gone all over the place. We have covered so many different topics.
Yeah, I find it really, really like, and I am nearing the end of my battery life, but I would love to do this again. And your people are really like really cool gang. I think like we both have our like little parish of friends and followers, and yeah, please everyone coming here from my channel follow Lady Spookaria.
And vice versa.
And yep.
Trooper! It's fine, Trooper. Look, this isn't the weirdest thing you've come back on throughout my stream, okay? It's fine. You're fine. I was so tempted, Zoop, to reply in this really bad Scottish accent, but I'm terrible at accents, so I'm just gonna.
By the way, what are you working on, lady? Like, what are you busy on? I only know you from these live streams, but I understand you record audiobooks and write stories too yourself.
I do. So right now I'm finishing off so basically it's kind of like a vampire and a succubus. I can't quite decide which one it is, or if it's, you know, a mixture.
Mm-hmm.
Or but I'm polishing off an apocalypse style story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still working on um one of the stories that you gave me permission to write, like in your All Tomorrow's world, like fictional.
Please, just have at it. Yes.
It's not done yet. I'm trying to like just.
Uh-huh.
It's not finished, but I'm also trying to work on like an actual novel and a
Mm-hmm.
collection of all my short stories from my channel in one book that people can read.
Ooh, I
Yeah.
would buy that.
Oh, that's really cool. I've only been promising it since 2021, 2022. I
You
can
should give
be
these
a
some time.
procrastinator.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a procrastinator. I know this. Um, let's see. I've got some other secret projects that I'm getting a lot of things made for it, and it's one of those things where it better turn out well. It better turn.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, another tip, by the way, for writing, don't tell people what you're working on until you finish it, because sometimes the dopamine hit comes from telling people and you just lose
yeah,
interest afterwards.
yeah, that has happened to me a couple of times. Like, I'm writing this, and if I talk about the story too much, it's like, well, it doesn't exist to me anymore. It's like, oh,
Vampire and the succubus, oh my.
yep.
It's, it's just like, I mean, it's just they stay indoors for a week and only go out for ice cream and just to stretch the legs and it's back indoors again. It's
It's fine.
heavy, heavy chemistry, if you know what I mean. Like,
I
because
just,
you know,
Just
a lot of the tension in romance comes from one side being beautiful and one side chasing another side and not being reciprocated, and until then they join. But vampire and succubi, by definition, like each side is out there for action. So like, oof,
mm-hmm.
you know, when that castle is rocking, don't come and knocking. So
I mean, yeah. So with some of my stories, I have to be very careful because YouTube doesn't like spicy stories. So I have to sort of like use like colorful language and be like, basically, if anyone questions it, it's like, no, they mean this. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. But
I mean, like I always find that very short bursts and very subtle hints work better than like, oh, and then they did, oh, and then the jet plane landed, and ooh, and
yeah, like sometimes if it's too graphic and too much, it's just like, I'm bored now. I like when it's like there needs to be that anticipation, and you know,
then
that
you go into
teasing. Yeah,
you go into book talk territory.
Book talk territory.
Do you know that?
I've
know
heard,
that.
yeah, I've heard the term. And like all like the colorful words for, you know, different body parts is like, I hate that. It's just, it's like, oh. Hey, Rooster, welcome. Like... What a time to walk in on. Hey, AK, welcome, one of my beloved channel members. Welcome.
So, shall we talk a bit about book talk and how it started and how it's going and the factions it's divided into, or because it's like one of my favorite guilty indulgences.
Do you just up on? Do you just sit and look at the drama on book talk and go, ooh?
Well, I only know about the broad outlines, but let me go through it for posterity. So it started out as, you know, like Twilight type fiction, like slightly erotic, but just a little. And then it's mushroomed into, like, basically, there's no good way to put it, like porn with flair, let us say.
Oh my.
And that's what it blossomed into. Then it got into, of course, it got into TikTok, and there are all these women sharing their favorite love stories. But then guys started moving into this place. And there are these like weird actors who are like, yeah, why don't you tell me you're being a good girl or stuff like that. And they get thousands of watches and like,
oh, the thirst traps. The thirst traps.
Yeah. So there's 3 types of thirst traps now. There's the bike guys, there's the werewolf guys, and there's the mask guys. So you have the Holy Trinity. And then some of these are really creepy, like, hey, you know, I got the keys to your house and come in and go as I please anytime, you know. And it's like, it's got million views. And like, I hope he comes into my house.
Someone's gonna clip that.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw one, and it was this. He had that. I don't know what it's called, but like, he looks like a stupid poodle. Like, just the yeah, like that sort of like really, I don't know, but just he looked like an idiot. But anyway, when he was like, yeah, you want me, don't you? Like, no, go away.
Yeah, and it's incredible how many people like that stuff, and like, I guess it says something about loneliness in society. So yeah. Okay, I look. I like watching a little garbage too sometimes, but yeah, this is fun. So the idea is not to get book talky and actually like to be able to, like, going back at the main point we diverged from, main fork of the road. I think when you're writing about erotic or sensual stuff, the shorter it is, the better it works.
Mm. I think
And
so.
like, and it's stuff like, I mean, his hand reached out and she smiled. Okay, that's that. Cut to the chase. Because you know what happens. I mean, we all think about it. So, yeah.
Like, come on. Like,
Mm-mm.
stop wasting my time. I have things to do. uh,
Yeah.
uh,
Well, best of luck in your writing, by the way. And
thank you. I really appreciate that. So Rose asks, do you ever get antsy if you're not working on something?
actually, yes. I mean, look, I always ask myself, like, what did you do for creativity today? And today, for example, these 3 odd hours I've been spending you have been great. I've been like rehashing my ideas. I've been getting to know you, which is really cool. I've been getting introduced to your community. They're great. So that's one. Later in the day, I'll probably do some of my day job stuff. I always have like canvases getting ready to be painted. I have scans of old paintings which I need to edit, and I'll do some writing in the afternoon. So it all goes hand in hand with my daily life. Of course, we all have like concerns and stuff and like daily life stuff. So I always like make a half and half bit mix, but there's almost never a day in which I don't work on my own things. Even a little a day makes a difference. So
I would
yeah.
say even try to write like 100 words or 50 words if you can.
Yep.
Just to get it flowing.
If you're a pure writer, it's a different challenge. Like as an artist, so sometimes like there are days where I have to work the whole day long and I don't have time for anything else. What I do then is I get a little sketchbook, go out to the town and sit at a cafe and have a tea and just sketch people passing by and do studies and stuff. So yeah. Rose Blacks, can I read this? Can I do a dramatic reading of this comment? I think that's what Rose wants.
Okay.
I got your house keys, girl. I can enter your home anytime. I can make a sandwich in your kitchen, drink your root beer, and you would have no idea it happened. So yeah. Yeah.
I clipped. Oh my gosh.
I ain't got nothing to fear from no one. So flip ahead.
Oh, Zoop binged my
How is that meant to be like? How is that meant to be arousing? Like I can understand the predatory angle, but this is like Homer Simpson here. Like drinks your root beer and makes a sandwich. There's also this American fixation about can I come in? Yeah, you can come in. Like they got this like really weird rule because all the houses are built flush to the ground, and I love America, but I can't wrap my head around having a house that has all its doors and windows exposed to the street level. Oh, God, that's scary. So a proper American house, in my opinion, needs to have like the first entry level made out of stone, no windows, one door, okay? And then you climb up, and then the first floor is the veranda. And that's that.
Just imagine you scaling a wall to get to someone's house.
I mean, yeah. Laura says most have guns in them. Come uninvited at your own risk. I'm not against gun ownership, but as the saying goes, if there's a weapon in the story, it gets used, and statistically, more often than not, it gets used in domestic violence, and the results aren't pretty. I grew up in apartment blocks and apartments all my life, and there's just something like really safe. You lock the door. That's that. You won't find anyone drinking your root beer, I can tell you. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, too bad I had the skeleton keys, girl. They don't call me Skeleton Joe for nothing. I'm in your kitchen
If
brewing
anyone's
tea and
stealing my food
shit.
in the kitchen, they're going to
Yeah,
die. Like, how dare you? Oh.
that's a character you can like Skeleton Joe 17.
God.
Tea time or bust. Yeah, like you could have a whole series of book about this book talk F boy named Skeleton Joe who has skeleton keys and keeps breaking into girls' houses and scaring them in horny making ways. And yeah.
Oh, God.
There's a IP just giving it out to the world if anyone wants to develop that. But okay, let's play with this a little. Skeleton Joe has to have like a weakness, like so it's like, oh yeah, Laura, I heard you like your prize collection of china. Too bad I came into your house and smashed them in front of you. Clink clink. There's nothing you can do about that, girl, because I'm Skeleton Joe. But
If
he has to
someone
have a
did that,
weakness.
I'd be like, you better clean that up or you're not leaving this house. I don't care if you
Yeah, I
leave in
mean,
a
like,
body bag. I will mess you up.
yeah, I mean, you say that because you're sane, but you would be like, oh, don't smash them, daddy, please. And then like,
You do that so well.
oh, you mean don't drop this? And then it's like,
That was so funny. Also, thank you for complimenting Stay Alert, Stay Alive, Zoop.
Skeleton Joe 5. Skeleton Joe gets swatted. So like there has to be some retribution because I'm really not a big fan of these like harsh fantasies. So it has to start like your regular book talk slop, but it has to end with like him getting swatted or I don't know, like I don't know.
God.
Imagine there's like this aquarium girl and Skeleton Joe is like, oh, too bad I poisoned your fish and stuff, but actually like one of the aquariums have a black mamba in it or something and like he gets bitten on the dick and it suppurates and turns black first, then red, then blue, then drops. And one day, like the tomb of a drowned man, there he saw Skeleton Joe, his disembodied member, just sitting there in the bed looking back at him. And
No, Skeleton Joe, like TikTok goes down. He loses all power.
Oh,
He gets all of his accounts banned on all social medias and he just sits there with like a phone that no longer works, like, and he sees the battery slowly run out of charge and he can do nothing to stop it, and he's there just tapping the screen going
yeah.
And then he's
Skeleton Joe watches Castle Doctrine. That's the good one.
Oh, my
Colonel
goodness.
K says he gets into a committed relationship that takes all the joy of life because they're shitting together and like partying and talking about insurance down payments now. Well, he had a good run.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, this was so much fun.
Yeah.
This was so much fun. Thank you so much.
Is there any final questions or comments, because CM has to head out?
How long do your streams usually last?
3 hours and a bit usually.
Okay, I think we've hit the mark. So let's, Any last comments, questions?
Yep.
I have a few closing words if nobody has them.
AK would like to know where you're from.
I was born in Ankara. I am Turkish, but I have also a mixed background. But I'm a Turkish citizen. as the saying goes, ne mutlu Türk'üm diyene, which means happy is he who says I am Turkish. So I was born in Ankara. I was very lucky. I studied in the States and then in the UK and always kept coming back to Turkey. I live there still. It's a nice life.
There we go. Gonna drop your linky loos.
Thank you. And look, whether you're writing or doing anything, it's the best to have fun. Like if you're having fun, then you're putting out something good. If you're in your day job and you find yourself itching to go back home so you can work on your book or your project, that means you're on the right track. It you don't always have to it doesn't always directly lead to success in quotes, whatever that is. But it's all about the connections you make with people and like sharing the joy of what you made, and that's that. You just have to keep plugging at it, and then it grows like a plant. So yes. M91 Trooper Films. I love your work. Thank you. Thank you so much. What made you want to start being creative? I think this was like a disease. Like one of my first memories ever is like I'm like very young and we are still living in Ankara, which is the Turkish capital. And we had like a small apartment and it was very cold in the winters. It wasn't dismal or anything. It was cozy. And one of my first memories is like asking my mother to give me sheets of paper and I got a crayon. So I make spirals on it over and over with my left hand. And I say, this is like a purple snail. This is like a star snail or stuff like that. And that night I had so much fun. I painted so many spiral patterns and I felt like I could do this regardless, it doesn't have to be a job. Like I don't ever want to be in prison, but if I find myself locked up, I could still have some ink and some sheets of paper and I would be happy. It's like a disease. It's like an itch you have to scratch. Like there's like components to it, of course, like as you're growing up in your teenage years, if you manage to impress people with these skills, it really helps you. It gives you a boost. But I think there's a phenomenon called outsider art, or also known as art brut. And this is art created by people with sometimes with mental challenges, or this day and age you call them neurodivergent attributes. And they have never received a formal art education, and they never went to a $110,000 art school for 4 years. And they just picked up a brush and just went to town. They never stop. Usually these people, despite having mental challenges sometimes, live to a very old age because they just keep working, keep creating. Like, I know one guy in Turkey who has this thing. He's got some sort of a Down syndrome, but he picks up a brush and paint, and he covers every available surface with these pictures of these happy man or butterflies or cats. And I can just drop a link to the chat about this guy. Anyways, like, doesn't matter. Like, this guy never stops. And actually, the entire house he lives in now is covered with his paintings. And there's efforts to turn this place into a museum now. And there's many people like this. It's a mental itch you have to scratch. And if you got that, then you go with it. So
I get anxious if I don't write. Like, it feels like my day isn't normal. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, like some of my in real life friends, they do journaling to like placate their anxieties and stuff. Do you think there are any connections between that and the way you write, or do you think it's disjointed? I really want to get your perspective on that.
So for me, like, I have tried journaling, but I can't keep a journal. It's just something like, because my day's just my day. If I haven't done anything exciting, I don't care. Like it's just like, but like I
Mhm.
can for the most part just write, whether it's just a little bit of notes or whether it's like at my computer or just like there's different types of writing. So there's writing where I'm like, okay, look, I need to get something done. I need to get, get in the flow, at least try. But there are other times when the flow is just happening and it's like the world doesn't exist to me. I'm in my writing mode. Do not disturb me
Yep,
because I
yep,
will yell
yep.
at you. It's like people have heard me typing, and like the louder I type, the better it is. It's like music to my ears. It's loud to everyone else, but it's music to my ears.
All right.
Oh yes, the crickets, Laura. Zoop, if you want to hear more of my my narrations, check out they're all through my channel. Who you're the only one who hears the Scottish. I mean, I guess so. But anyway, I can sense
Rooster
CM looking
Cogburn.
at the looking at the door.
Rooster Cogburn gives the morale of tonight, saying, "If you keep breaking into people's houses and drinking all their root beer, you go to jail." Yeah.
Colonel, you would believe it if I said it was Scottish? Huh. I just that's one accent no one said. People have said South African, New Zealand, and from the UK, but like just a general. Interesting. So, any final questions or comments or anything you'd like to end on?
Well, I'd just like to thank you for this great hangout. If you ever have another empty slot in your schedule, I'd love to do this again. I think I've proven my ability to talk incessantly, and
Yes.
it was a really nice time hanging out with you. It felt like hanging out with a friend. I consider having gained an online friend today,
Same.
and I wish you and everybody listening now or later to have a great day. And that's that. Thank you everybody for your love and support of our works.
Yes. Okay. Stay safe, my little spooklings. And remember,
All right.
I'll be watching you. You can say goodbye. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye
Goodbye,
bye.
everybody. Have a night wherever you are.